As Florida's legislative session wrapped up last week, lawmakers passed some sweeping immigration reform.
This was going to be a story about immigration, workers' rights, border policies, and those are still very important topics to discuss, but I think there's a layer to this story that almost nobody is talking about. On May 10th, 2023, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law SB 1718 to, quote, combat the dangerous effects of illegal immigration caused by the federal government's reckless border policies.
Nobody has a right to immigrate to this country, no foreigner. We determine as Americans what type of immigration system benefits our country.
But could Ron DeSantis' pro-America law actually function as a backdoor mechanism to transfer wealth from the masses to the ruling elite? Let's don our tinfoil hats for a second. Agriculture, farmland, accounts for roughly 52% of the U.S. land base and permanently woven into the fabric of American history and culture. And according to the latest census of agriculture, 96% of U.S. farms are family-owned. But reports estimate that 50% of U.S. farms rely on the labor of undocumented workers. Pause here. Family-owned or not, there is a point of acknowledgement that parts of our economy are predicated on low-wage, exploitative labor, and I think there's a conversation to be had whether this type of labor practice should be legal or illegal. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But regardless, the immediate net effect of DeSantis' new law is that farm workers are already fleeing Florida.
Miren mi gente, esto está pasando aquí en Florida. Son cientos de acres de cultivo que se echaron a perder. Son demasiados que realmente no puedo caminar todo eso porque es mucho.
And if history is any indication of the future, Florida will follow in the footsteps of Alabama, which passed a similar anti-immigration law back in 2011, HB 56, which decimated farming businesses.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
And this is the point that nobody seems to be talking about. What do you think happens to poor Keith Smith's farm and the many other family-owned farms like his when it ultimately goes out of business because of this new law?
Bill Gates became the largest individual owner of farmland in America.
Bill Gates has been secretly buying up all the farmland across America.
Billionaires are buying up a ton of farmland across the country.
Yeah, it's gonna be gobbled up by Bill Gates or this Greenwich, Connecticut looking motherfucker. His name is Thomas Peterfy, I don't know how to pronounce. He's a Hungarian-born American billionaire businessman who owns 581,000 acres of farmland because he apparently loves farms.
Some people like myself find farms beautiful and peaceful and a nice place to live.
Something tells me that that is not it. Let's see which farm he lives on. The beautiful farm along the beach in Palm Beach, Florida. But in all seriousness, in the last few years, billionaires, corporations, hedge funds, private equity, even mutual funds have all been in an arms race to buy up American farmland. One simple reason why? Buy land. They ain't making more of this stuff. The financial reality is the value of U.S. farmland has steadily increased over the decades. In 1995, it was valued at under $1,500 an acre, and now it's ballooned to more than $3,000 an acre.
Institutional capital is growing and it's becoming a bigger piece of the market, and it is part of that wealth transfer that's happening when you look at the demographics behind who owns farmland.
The second reason, perhaps more of the tinfoil hat explanation, to gain control of the food supply. Farm Action President Joe Maxwell warned about corporate ownership, foreign ownership, and billionaires who are focused solely on profit, saying, quote, sometimes their eye is not on the production value of that land specifically, but on the ability to control the food chain. Who is going to control that land is a serious problem for the future of food production.
You should know, based upon whether it's a national security issue, a food security issue, or who's going to be the next generation of farmers and feed our neighbors.
And guess who happens to back Ron DeSantis? A bunch of billionaires. Coincidence? I don't know. But the two things that I do know is that while the culture war rages on, Ron DeSantis, the fearless patriot on one side, versus Ron DeSantis, the cruel and unhinged fascist on the other, is one, SB 17 is going to tear families apart, and two, It's going to drive small farmers out of business and trigger this massive wealth transfer from small businesses to giant corporations, hedge funds, the ruling elite, further entrenching their monopoly power. Remember, you control food and you can control people. And almost nobody in the mainstream seems to want to sound the alarm bell or have even made this connection, or maybe unwilling to make this connection. But it's not all bad. We can be a little bit optimistic because there's something we can do. Keith Smith's farm, I looked this up. Thankfully, they're still in business. Turns out there was a bit of a farmers' revolt in Alabama, and most of the provisions of the anti-immigration law I referenced were gutted within a few years, piece by piece. Right now, in Florida, there is a truckers' revolt being organized in real time against SB 1718.
Now truckers are threatening to actually strike against bringing in goods to the state of Florida.
I don't know about you guys, but my truck will not be going to Florida at all.
Truck drivers are now calling for a boycott of the state of Florida.
I received a call that South Florida truck drivers are shutting down today.
We are asking for all the brothers and sisters of the road, truckers, to unite themselves with us.
So I think this serves as a reminder for all of us. The ruling class, they don't see you and I. They don't even think about you and I unless we make ourselves seen by building new alliances among the working class to disrupt their financial hegemony. But hey, that's just my theory. I want to hear yours. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please also take a second to like it, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to my channel, turn on that notification bell, and as always, thank you for your time today, and I'll see you in the next one.